Hello all my sweaty little gamers. Today I'm going to be talking about Overwatch 2. Originally this video was going to be based a bit more about why Overwatch is boring, and it's going to be a bit more of an educational video where I'll talk about tracking and flick shots and other stuff like that. However, the past couple of days I've been playing Overwatch on stream and it's just become more and more apparent that I just get frustrated at this game, and I just want to talk about why that is, what there is I don't like about it. So I just want to start this off with saying that this video is going to be a bit more of a rant. If you ever want to come and say this is a skill issue and it's something that I'm not doing right, well, I just want to say that if there's something in the game which I have to get better at doing by playing the game, but things I experience is what I'm going to be saying in this video, then I don't want to play a game where I have to experience such things. Kindly send any critique in the comments and I'll discuss it with you down there, and we can cry about Overwatch 2 together. So in no particular order, let's get started on things that annoy me a little bit. So we're going to start with a little goblin called Genji. Ignoring the fact he's been given tennis ball sized shurikens, I just want to say his deflect is the thing that I'm mostly going to be focusing on at the moment. He is just so stupid to fight against because he can somehow deflect Junker Queen's hammer at press of a button. I would love to have someone explain to me what makes him be able to deflect Junker Queen's hammer. With all his mobility, how is he able to get into Junker Queen's range and not be punished for it? It is, I don't know, it is so stupid to me that he can do that. The deflect also makes him invulnerable to Junkrat's mine, which is fair enough. However, I don't understand why he's able to just negate any sort of damage from the C4. It's not as if he is taking the detonator from Junkrat. I know this isn't a lore video, it's more for balance and stuff, but I don't think it's very fair or balanced that he can just knock away a C4 and then take no damage from it whatsoever. He has so much mobility and survivability that things like this should be, yes, he can knock it away, but he should take some damage from it, even if it's reduced. It's just so frustrating to play against Genji, as it is at the moment. Moving on from people who are annoying to play against, I personally find Pharah one of the most annoying characters to fight against. Even worse if it's a pharmacy, because even if I'm a hit scan, it's not something I want to be doing. I don't want to be playing skeet shooting in the sky. I want to be able to just play the game properly. And when this person can fly around in the sky and hit me with rockets which have huge splash damage, and they're just able to hit me from unlimited range because her rocket launcher has absolutely no fall off damage, which is great for some reason. Why can it do that? It just has no fall off damage, it has no drop, it shoots in a perfectly straight line and can simply flank quietly. Yeah, it's just nuts. The latest rework that Pharah got given is so useless and just so pointless because she just feels the exact same. She's just as present as she was before. It doesn't feel as though it matters. The rework, it doesn't feel like much of a rework. She's still flying around and being a nuisance in the sky. Just an absolute disappointment. I have to say that Echo has a similar issue. However, it's less noticeable when there's an Echo in the game because, well, she has to aim a little bit with at least 2 or 3 of her damaging abilities, so it's not that bad. When there's an Echo in the game, I don't feel as though I need to stop playing the game. I can usually work around it and it's actually not that effective in my mental state, whereas Pharah is an instant, I want to stop playing, I want to play something else. If there's not a competent DPS on our team who's going to be shutting down that Pharah. At the moment in time, Zen is in the meta, which is not fun at all if you're playing tank, as he is just so oppressive to fight against Discord. It is one of the most frustrating things to be just Zen, and then you get bombarded by the tank and the DPS, and then you just melt. If you don't have an overwhelming team which is next to you and melted, and then your team's going to get rolled, it's not really a fun experience. And it's not only Zen, it can just be down to bad teamwork and stuff, but it makes it so much worse when you have that thing on your screen, and it's just annoying. It's not fun. I don't like it. That all being said, the fact that you've got cooldowns such as Baptiste Lamp and Kirako's Suzu, which just negates all damage, and then you've got Zen's ultimate, which just heals really quickly, but you can still be killed through an ultimate, which just feels kind of pointless. A lot of ultimates get downplayed and just become kind of pointless to the point where even like Ryan's ultimate can just be negated by a Suzu as well. It just makes it feel weaker, and it just makes ultimates feel less impactful than they need to be or than they actually are. And it makes you not want to play your favourite character even more because you know that their ultimates can get easily negated by a semi-competent player, playing Kiriko for example. In Overwatch 1, Ball was a flank tank that was mildly frustrating, and it could be mostly ignored, and they would probably switch off to another tank, and then they would actually join in with playing with everyone else. Overwatch 2, he became a bad main tank, because obviously 5v5 was introduced, and it was just a bad tank to pick, and it kind of just meant you were throwing if that happens. Now Balls became quite a frustrating tank to play against, to be fair. He's kind of not a force to be reckoned with, but he really just an annoying, bigger, worse tracer. It's just not fun. When you've got a single tank which is having to distract your entire team, and in game modes like push, where you don't really get a chance to touch the robot if you've got you've got 2 or 3 people not with you, you're going to lose any sort of engagement around the robot. Now ball is one of the most frustrating tanks to play against, with not a lot of skill, and with a lot of skill becomes one of the most ball ripping experiences. It's really not fun to fight against a competent ball. Just while we're on the topic of different kinds of heroes, I just want to throw in the fact that Moira's suck is a little bit far. Doesn't happen too often, so I'm not going to cry about it too much. I just wanted to have that in this section because I couldn't find anywhere else to fit it in. Moving on from annoying heroes to annoying game modes, push, it's not the worst game mode we've got at the moment. It's not fun. Well, I don't find it that fun, but it's one of those where it's okay. It's in the game. Whereas Flashpoint, however, is personally one of the most annoying game modes I've played in any sort of first-person shooter. The fact that every time I've won, it felt like I didn't deserve it, and any loss just felt like an absolute landslide. It neither feels good. Neither you want to think, oh, I'm so happy we played that game, I want to play that sort of match again. It's not fun. I don't want to play that sort of game mode again. I hate it every single time it comes up on the screen that we're playing Flashpoint on any of the maps. There is no good map for Flashpoint. The other day on stream, we played against a few tanks who were throwing, and that's not really the game's fault, but if it's happening, it's happening, so it's just something I just want to speak about because it kind of plays into something Blizzard have done. We're playing against a Mercy boosted Hanzo, and their Roadhog pretended he was 10 years old. And he was basically just adding absolutely nothing, and we rolled him on attack. And then obviously when we swapped sides, the enemies all left and it was just the tank remaining, and he was very happy with himself that he had basically brought this game to a halt and made his team lose, which it's not fun to give him that sort of satisfaction. And later on we had played with another Roadhog who was just holding W into the entire team, purposely throwing. Again, there was nothing we could do in that situation except you to think, oh, okay, it's fine, the game's over now, just avoid the player. You can't just avoid the player because you only avoid up to 3 players at a time. That's something, but you only avoid them for 7 days, in which case you can find them in your pool again of matchmaking. That's not something you want to be having. If you find someone who is toxic, or someone who is throwing, or someone who is cheating, 7 days and they can be back in your queues. They can be with you as a teammate if that happens. I don't know if it means you will go against them, but it means you will still find them again in your games. That's just kind of useless of an avoid. It's a bit of a nothing, but the fact it's not as good as it should be is just, again, frustrating and annoying. Hero swapping, an annoying feature that was disguised as a skillful act. If you want to play a certain hero, but the enemy that you're fighting is a meta character, for example, it's a person that everyone knows is the go-to for, say, attack or defense, or whatever it is that you're not on, and you're playing the character you want to play. Let's say you're playing Reinhardt. If you're playing that hero, unless you can play him really, really well, or you've got a 5-step that you spoke to before with, and you've got a plan in motion, there's not really much that you're going to do. You're just putting yourself at an automatic disadvantage by playing that hero. It can be won in certain games if the other team's just bad, but it's just an automatic disadvantage that you have no reason to put yourself into. You might as well just pick the meta. It's not fun to just play the meta, but if it's how you win games, you choose between having fun, which choosing to have fun usually means you lose, and if you can still have fun when losing, which usually you're getting rolled, so you can't. So you have to just pick the meta characters and just play the same games every single time. It's kind of repetitive, it's kind of annoying. You can't play the people you want. What's the point in playing the game? I personally do not like that as a feature, and I don't like the fact it's just been disguised as, oh, that's just the game now, you have to play that. You also have people who think, but there was a pro game where they played X into Y, but they really don't realise that that entire team was strategizing and speaking to what they need to do to win. They don't take that into account. They just see that they played a Winston into an Orisa and think, oh, that's just how I play every game now because these pros did it, so it must be good. No, those pros thought about what it is they need to play into the enemy team because how do they normally play it? Especially when they've also got to take into account that 5 stack of pro players are also communicating, which 90% of my matches anyway, almost the entire team leaves his voice chat, so there's not really any point in trying to talk to them. One of my last points I want to cry about on the internet is the amount of copium that Overwatch players are having with the latest season patch notes. I've seen so many people saying, oh, it's such a fresh game again, it feels like a new game. It's such a load of bullshit. It feels slightly different to how it was a couple weeks before the update, But to say it feels like a whole new experience, it got stale just as quick as it was before. I'm happy the game's getting updates, but personally, it just feels like the main bottom line fun mechanics of the game are still present, and it's still just as frustrating as it has been for however long the game's been out. One of the latest changes I got upset about on stream was the Jade camo. Coming into effect, it had been handled really poorly, and the whole having 4 different kinds of currency in your game now is just kind of overwhelming. You don't understand what it means. It's a mission for new players. I think the main issue that they're trying to overcome is the fact that you've got these veteran players who have played the game since day one, and now they've got every golden gun in the game, and they have got millions of legacy credits, whatever they're called, I don't know. And they think, oh, okay, so how do we get around some of these players having so many points will just buy any sort of new camo? Okay, we'll make this one green ugly camo that no one actually wants to spend their money on. It's just such a roundabout way. What they should have done is have like 4 or 5 camos come out at once, not ugly Jade. So if you're going to have Jade, make a ruby, make a sapphire, make an amethyst, make any other gems that you can think of, because it didn't take you a lot of time to get that paint fill tool and change the colour of the golden gun, which is all they did. Oh, and added a little animation to have like a green diamond or whatever it is. It takes no effort for them to have made that skin. They could have made 4 at the same time, and then not only do people have more things to spend their money on, or their points on, they would have made it that not everyone would have been punished the way they have been, but everyone would have received some sort of reward or better life achievement, which would have meant that instead of buying a golden gun, you now could have saved up to get a purple gun. Or now if you've got loads of credits and you've already got every golden gun, you can now buy a purple gun, a red gun, a green gun, and you can customize that to whichever heroes that you want to have it on. And it just gives more customizability to the people who have loads of credits, and it gives the people who don't have loads of credits to work to something that isn't just golden gun anymore. That would have been much better to me personally. I think that sounds like a better solution. Also, I think that anyone who has so many credits that they literally can just buy the golden gun the second a new character is released, they deserve that privilege because they've put so much time and effort into the game. To just try and negate and just get rid of that reward that they've put into the game just feels kind of backhanded from Blizzard, in my opinion. Moving on from that, I have to say that I don't really care for skin practices or anything like that, but I feel like it's kind of a missed opportunity from Blizzard not to allow players to mix and match skins and weapon skins. This would allow a lot more customization for the players to mix and match multiple skins and make a new skin out of the 2, I guess, in a way. Maybe a character like Junkrat, you could have a main natural skin, a different weapon skin, a different mine, a different bear trap, and you could just mix them all together, which would just give it more customization. This should be available for any other characters, or even if it's just you can choose the candy skin for the weapons and guns, but you then have the mobster actual skin of the character. It just adds that extra customizability, it just adds that extra touch to the game, and it also means that when Blizzard releases a ugly skin, but it has a nice weapon, oh, that's okay, I'll buy that skin for my character, and I'll put on this legendary skin that I have, but I'll use that weapon skin that they've just released, because the weapon skin looks good, but the skin looks ugly, or vice versa. So it's better for Blizzard, and it's better for the players. Not that I'm comfortable with promoting the skins at the moment in time, but it's the way Overwatch is at the moment, so there's not really any way of getting around it. I at least would want to allow players who have lots of skins to mix them together, and the future of people to have the ability to do that. I don't see any reason why we should be given as much freedom as we possibly can get. It's a standard practice that rivals like Paladins have been doing for years now. Thank you ever so much for watching. Please comment down below of your thoughts and tell me how stupid you think I am. I stream on Twitch and Kick. I feature on a podcast called Anything You Never Needed to Know, which I'll link down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys check that out and gave it a follow. Many thanks. Bye-bye.